Hey guys, in today's video I wanted to go over something with you. I kind of want to do maybe a short series of videos kind of on this subject. I did do one video telling the story of my son Jacob and how I lost him. He was stillborn. If you haven't watched that video yet, I can leave a link down in the description below if you wanted to watch that. But so besides October being the month of Halloween and definitely one of my favorite months, it is also Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. And so I thought I would do a video based around this. I kind of wanted to just share my personal thoughts as to what people can do for those who are grieving, whether they miscarried or had a stillborn or lost an infant or child, and just nice things that you can do for them, because I know the people that are grieving barely know what they want or need at the time, and so it's even less likely that people around them will know what they can do for them. So I just wanted to make this video to help anyone who would like to comfort those who are grieving the loss of a child or a pregnancy of any type of loss. Just simple things that you can do that can just ease the pain for that person or that couple that has experienced this. For me personally, it was very difficult when I lost Jacob, because it just kind of, happened, and it had, something like that had never happened on me or my husband's side of the family before. Like, no one had really experienced this. And so no one really knew what to do, and we definitely didn't know what we wanted from people. But as the years have gone by and we have had a few more losses in the family recently, and it's definitely not an easy thing to go through, and I feel like if there's anything I can take away from the experience I had with losing my own child, is being able to know how to be there for those who are grieving presently. And I feel like it has helped me to kind of just know what they would probably need, and everyone's different obviously, so I can't speak for everyone, but there are definitely some basic things that you can do. Definitely the first thing I recommend is just showing them that you love them and that you're thinking of them. Because what typically happens, and this definitely happened to me, is when the child, passes away, you get a lot of attention for a bit. And I don't mean attention in like, oh, I'm getting attention, but a lot of people are reaching out to you, and you definitely get a lot of love and support. But after the funeral or the loss, and it, is like a few months later or so, people tend to kind of go away, go on with their lives, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, everyone has their own lives to live. But after all of that kind of goes away, that's when you definitely start to feel the weight of what you're stuck living with. And it can just help that even if it's been several months, several years after the baby has passed away, it's definitely helpful to continue to reach out to that person because they're still grieving. I mean, it's been 13 years since I lost Jacob, and his birthday is still a hard day for me. Just little things that remind me of him or make me think of, how many kids I should have with me as opposed to how many are actually here. It never really leaves you. So it's very appropriate and very nice when people acknowledge you, and whether it's just a text message or maybe you just send them a card or something. It just always helps just to know that people are thinking of you and remembering that you did go through something very traumatic and very hard. So that's the first thing I definitely recommend. The second thing that I definitely recommend is asking questions. I feel like most people feel that asking about what happened, whether it was a pregnancy that was lost or the baby had passed away or whatever the situation was, people think that it's too hard for the person to talk about, and sometimes it is, but that's another reason why you should ask people if, doing certain things is okay with them, like what they're comfortable with. But I know as far as me personally, I definitely like when people ask me about Jacob, ask what happened, when it happened, and just ask about him. Because it makes me feel like he exists. He existed in our lives. He made a big impact. He's still one of my children, even though he's not here on earth with us. He is just as much my child as my other two children. And the third thing that I recommend doing for grieving parents is just do like random acts of kindness for them. Sometimes I will send little packages to people that I know, just with different things, like maybe pictures or quotes or, stuffed animals, or just things that I know that they would like for that individual. And if you live close to them, like maybe offer to clean their house or watch their children that are, still living, like, offer to babysit, just anything that just kind of eases the pain, and can make them just feel loved. Let the parents know that they are loved. You will definitely always remember, as a grieving parent, you will always remember those people that were there for you when things were tough. And the fourth thing that I recommend, and this is kind of a big one, especially for me personally. So if it's someone who miscarried, it's good to acknowledge when their due date was, because that's something that's going to be a big thing for them. If they've lost the baby too early and their due date comes and, clearly there's not going to be a baby that's going to be there. And then also on the side of, if the baby did make it to full term and was born and things like that, just acknowledging the grieving parents, the due date or the child's birthday. For me, this is a big one because for many years, especially on my side of the family, no one really acknowledged Jacob's birthday, and it just kind of made me feel like they just wanted to pretend he didn't exist. And that's basically how I felt around my family. Like, they didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to talk about him, what happened. They weren't there, just all that stuff. And so it just made me feel like, oh, I guess this didn't happen and my child never existed because they never acknowledge him. And I'm not saying that people that don't, acknowledge the child's birthday are like bad people or anything, but all I am saying is that it really is a big day for the grieving parents. And it's definitely going to be a hard day for the grieving parents. So Jacob was born on July 11th, but he passed away July 10th. And so those two dates are just really hard for me. And July in general is kind of a hard month because I tend to just be a basket case during the whole month, just thinking about him and, just thinking about what happened and all of that. It can just be definitely hard. But something that makes it like a little bit easier is knowing that other people are thinking about your child on that day as well. So if you know someone that miscarried, I would say send them like a nice note or a nice text message when they were supposed to have the baby. And then if the child was born, acknowledge their birthday. I love getting text messages from people when they say, hey, I know it's Jacob's birthday, we're thinking about you, that just really resonates with me personally, and I really enjoy when people actually acknowledge his birthday. And the fifth and final thing on my list of things you can do for grieving parents is just let them talk. It's real simple, but sometimes there's really hard days and some days it's not so bad, but it's just kind of a roller coaster of emotions, no matter how long it's been or how recent it was. And just giving them an outlet, giving them a person that they can go to when they're having those hard days, and they can be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling today and this is what's going on with me, and just listen to them. I know that me and my sister-in-law, we confide in one another when days are really hard. I mean, other than my husband, I obviously can talk to my husband about these things, but other than him, I've never really had anybody that was willing to sit and listen and allow me to talk about Jacob and confide in and things like that. So that's always been kind of difficult. It's definitely not easy not having anybody to talk to. So just make sure that you give them an outlet and allow them to talk about what they're going through, no matter how long it's been. Something else I just wanted to say is, for any of you that have lost a child recently or within the last few years, it does get easier, and I'm very sorry that you're going through this. It's not anything I would wish on my worst enemy. It is definitely not an easy thing to go through, but know that I love you, and that if any of you need someone to talk to, like, I will literally put my email address in the description, and I would be happy to hear your stories. If you just want someone to talk to, I'd be happy to listen, because I know it's definitely not easy, and it can really help if you have someone to talk to that can relate to what you're going through. Alright, that's pretty much it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to give it a like, and remember to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.